Feel my heart for the first time, 'cause now I'm moving on, yeah, I'm moving on.
Hello Cutiecalities, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to crochet the matching bikini bottoms for the bikini top I showed you guys a few months ago here on my channel. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, make sure you give a massive thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe so you can join the Cutiecality family. So let's begin with the video. For the project I'm going to be using a 3.5mm hook, a tapestry needle, a small pair of scissors, and I'm also going to be using some elastic to add on the sides of the bikini bottom right here so it fits us perfectly and it's not going to fall down at the beach or anything like that. I'm also going to be using thread and needle. This is a normal one so we can sew the elastic in the bikini bottom. And also I'm going to be using the same yarn I've used to create my bikini top, so I have the matching one. And I'm going to be linking the yarn in the description below because I bought it on eBay, and I know they have a few other ones that I can link in the description below if you guys want to check it out. And it's a natural cotton yarn and it's a 4-ply yarn, so this is a really good if you make a lot of projects, a lot of bikinis and summer projects, so it's not hot and it's really nice and it dries really fast. So I really recommend you guys buying this one if you crochet a lot of bikinis and summer projects. And if you guys wanted to crochet the bikini top, I'm going to be leaving a link now in the description below for you guys to check it out. So before I show you guys a tutorial on how I create the bikini bottom, I just want to explain to you guys a few little things about the bikini bottom and the things that you can change as well. So I have the stitch markers in place because I want to know exactly where I've started and I finished my rows. And then for the back I've created a few more increases, as you can see, but I'm going to be explaining to you guys in further details soon in the tutorial. And then for an extra detail and security as well, I decided to add elastic on both sides, as you can see right here, and it basically fits very nicely when you have the elastic on the sides. You can definitely just add 2 little strings right here and create a little bow on the sides, but that's going to be up to you how you want to change the project as well. And regarding the style for this bikini bottom, is more like a cheeky slash thong style. I'm gonna be putting a picture somewhere in the video here so you guys can see the style that I'm going for. And I also have a bikini bottom here that I do love to wear, and it's kind of the style that I'm going for as well. It's one whole piece right at the top right here, and it's a little bit tinier in the front and the back as well. So if you guys want more like a hipster style, then you have to crochet less row at the back here, so let's say 3 rows, and then you can start with your increases from here. So it's going to kind of cover that going in that I have right here, so it's just gonna have more like a covered back. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial, so let's begin. So first you're going to be creating a slip knot. And then we are going to be chaining 9. And then we are going to be chaining 3 for the turn, because we're going to be working with double crochets. And then on the 4th chain we are going to be creating our first double crochet. And then we are going to be creating double crochets all the way down. And then for the bottom right here, for the base, I have 10 double crochets including the chain at the beginning. So now for the next row we are going to be chaining 3, turn, and then we are going to be creating double crochets all the way down. Also make sure you get the very last stitch. So this is basically what we are going to be doing for 7 rows in total. So I have 2 here, so I have 5 to do. So when I have my 7 rows completed, I'll come back and then we're going to be starting with the increases. And after the 7 rows with only double crochets going straight up, we are going to be starting now with the increases. So first you're going to be chaining 3. And for the increases, I'm going to be adding 1 double crochet at the beginning of the row and 1 at the end of the row. So after the chain for the first increase, we are going to be adding on the very first stitch right here, not on the second. So we are going to be doing on this one, which is coming from the chain. That we usually skip that one, but this time we're not going to be skipping. And then after that we are going to be continuing with double crochets until the end of this row, and then I'll be back to show you guys how you increase at the end. And then to increase at the end, on the last stitch we are going to be creating 2 double crochets on that same stitch. So this is how it should look like. So you have 2 at the beginning and 2 at the end. So for the next row we are only going to be doing with double crochets and no increases. So you're just going to be chaining 3 double crochets all the way down, and then we're going to go to the next row. So for row number 10 we are going to be creating with the increase. So you chain 3, turn, and then for the increase on the very first stitch you're going to be creating a double crochet and then double crochets all the way down, and then I'll meet you guys at the end. And then on the last stitch we are going to be creating 2 double crochets on that same stitch. So this is basically the technique that I'm going to be using for the front of my bikini bottom. For the back I'm going to be doing a little bit different. So now I'm just going to be continuing with the rows. So 1 row with double crochets and no increases, and then 1 row with the increase. So we've started with the increase, and then 1 without, and then 1 with, and then 1 without, and then 1 with, all the way up. So first we started with 7 rows without increases, and then we changed to increase and no increase. So that we're going to be doing for 9 rows, and then in total for the front I'm going to have 16 rows. But of course you can make it bigger, you can even make a little bit wider if you want, or you can make it larger if you want. It depends how you want your bikini bottom to look like, but I'm just going to be finishing off with the 9 rows that I have to do here, and then I'll be back to show you guys the back of the bikini bottom. So when you have all of the rows completed that you have to do, I have here 16 rows. Of course, if you're doing a bigger size, then you're going to have a little bit more than me. But when you complete it, you can fasten off. And then we are going to be doing the back of the bikini bottom. So now I'm going to be attaching my yarn on the very first stitch that I find right at the bottom. So you're going to be chaining 3, and then you're just going to be following the previous row with the double crochets, and then you're going to be creating double crochets on top of that all the way down. And you should have the same amount of double crochets as the previous row. So I have 10 double crochets here, and then I have 10 double crochets on the previous row. So now I'm going to be creating 4 rows with only the double crochets and no increases. So in total I'm going to have 5. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be creating my 4 rows, and then I'll be back to show you guys what to do next. So I have here my 5 rows completed with no increases. So now we are going to be doing 2 rows with increases. So the same increase that we've created in the front, but now we are going to be creating for 2 rows straight. So you're going to be chaining 3. And then on the very first stitch you're going to be creating your first double crochet, and then you're going to be continuing with the double crochets all the way down, and then I'll meet you guys at the end of the row. And in the last stitch you're going to be creating 2 double crochets on that same stitch. And then you're just going to be repeating this row one more time. So once you've finished with the 2 rows with the increase, we are going to be creating 6 rows with more increases, but this time we are going to be increasing 2 double crochets on each side. So first you're going to be chaining 3, and then on the very first stitch, instead of creating 1 extra double crochet, we are going to be creating 2 extra double crochets. So 1 and 2 on that very first stitch. There we go. And then you're going to be continuing with the double crochets all the way to the very last stitch, and then I'll show you guys what to do on the very last stitch. And then on the last stitch we are going to be creating 3 double crochets on that same stitch. So 1 to finish the row and then 2 for the increase. And then you're going to be chaining 3 for the next row. And then again on the very first stitch you're going to be creating 2 double crochets. And then you're just going to be repeating the same as we did on the previous row, so double crochets all the way down. On the very last stitch, 3 double crochets on that same stitch. So now I'm going to be using the same technique here, and then I'll do 6 rows in total. So I did 1 here and then the second. So I'm going to be finishing all of the 6 rows that I have to do, and then I'll be back to show you guys what to do next. So this is what it should look like when you have 6 rows with more increases. So from here to here I have 6 rows with the extra increases that we created. And then now we are going to be creating 2 rows with only double crochet. So I'm going to be showing you guys that. So I just want to explain to you guys if you want to make the bikini bottom at the back a little bit bigger. So you're going to be creating 2 or 3 rows only here at the base on the back. And then from here you're going to be starting with the increases. Basically the last one that I showed you guys with the 2 increases on each side. You're going to be starting from here, right at the base. And then you should have a little bit more covered the back of the bikini bottom. So now we are going to be stopping with increases, and we are going to be doing 2 rows just to finish it off. 2 rows with only the double crochets and no increases. So now we are going to be creating the sides right here, and for that I'm going to show you guys how I measured and how I got it right to fit me. So first you want to get a bikini bottom that fits you really well. And then what you want to do, you want to place the crochet bikini on top of it. And I'm going to be using a measuring tape to measure from the back to the front so I know exactly how many squares to create. So I'm going to be starting to measure from here the back, right on the sides right here. And then I'm going to be folding my measuring tape. So that's 15 centimeters for my bikini bottom. So what you're going to do, you're going to be adding 7 centimeters to that measurement. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to be creating 22 centimeters of squares. So basically what I've created on the sides right here on this other bikini bottom that I've created. And the reason why I've added the 7 centimeters is just because I want the sides here to be a little bit longer without the elastic. But of course when we create the squares it's going to be a little bit longer, but when we add the elastic it's going to be kind of perfect like that for the size. And also it's going to be very easy for us to put on the bikini bottom. So now for the squares I'm going to be using half double crochet. So I'm going to be chaining 4 at the beginning. So 2 for the base and 2 for the turn. So I'm going to be turning. So I'm going to be placing my first half double crochet just below the double crochet here. So just in between the 2 double crochets that we have here. Of course if your elastic is a little bit wider then of course you can go up to here, but I'm going to go here. So I'm going to be placing my first one right here, my first half double crochet. And then I'm just going to be continuing. So I'm going to be chaining 4. So I'm just going to be crocheting my next half double crochet just on top of the chain right here at the end. And then you're just going to be continuing, so chain 4. And then add the half double crochet at the end of the row. So now I'm just going to be continuing creating my squares, and when I have 22 centimeters of squares I'll come back and then I'll let you know how many squares I did. So as you can see I have all of the squares completed, and that's 22 centimeters long. And if you guys want to know how many I did 17 squares in total. So now you guys can decide which side you want to be the right side. So I'm going to be using this one as my right side. So I'm going to be attaching my squares on this side right here, which is my reverse on this one. So I'm just going to be reversing, so I'm just going to be turning this way. And then just make sure that the row here with the squares is not twisted so you can sew properly. So I'm just going to be putting on top of each other like that, so the front and the squares. So I just zoomed in here so you guys can see a little bit better what I'm going to be doing, but I still have the squares here, the back and then the front with the squares. So you can just insert your hook on the loop. So I'm just gonna be working with slip stitches and connecting both sides together. So from here, from this double crochet, the end of the double crochet, all the way to the top right here. So just choose a stitch, then slip stitch, then go to the next one. Also choose another one from here, from the front, then slip stitch it together, and then the last one on the top, and then you should have something like this. Just slip stitches just to connect both sides together. So now I'm just gonna be creating slip stitches until I reach this stitch right here, so we can start with the single crochets on the sides. So what we are going to be doing now is creating single crochets on the sides, so going kind of all the way to the top. And when I reach here, I'm going to be creating some double crochets. I'm going to show you guys when I get to that point. So for the single crochets, I'm just going to find a stitch, and then I'm just going to be creating a single crochet. There we go. So this is basically what I'm going to be doing for this part. So here's the back of my bikini bottom, here's the front. So I'm just going to be continuing with the single crochets going on the sides right here. And I'm going to be doing the single crochets until I reach row number 19. So count from the top all the way to row 19. So when I'm here, I'll come back and I'll show you guys on how many rows I'm going to be doing the double crochets on the back right here. And then we're just going to be finishing off with the single crochets all the way to the top. So now I'm going to be stopping with the single crochets. I'm going to be changing to double crochets, and I'm going to be doing for 6 rows. So from here all the way up to here, I'm going to be doing only double crochets, and then from this point all the way up, I'm going to be continuing with single crochets. So when I reach the top, I'm just going to be creating a slip stitch, and then I'm going to be chaining one, and then I can fasten off. So now you guys have to cut 2 pieces from the elastic. So both elastics are 12 centimeters long, as you can see right here. And if you want to know the perfect sizing for the elastic, what you're going to be doing is creating the squares and the single crochets and the double crochets on both sides. And then you're going to be pinning the elastic in the front and also in the back. And then you can try it on and see if it fits you. If you need a little bit longer, then of course you need to cut another piece a little bit longer. And if you need a little bit shorter, then you can just cut this one a little bit and then pin again and try it on until you have it perfectly to fit you. So once you have the size that you need, we can start sewing things together. And then I'm gonna be using my thread and needle. So now you can choose one of the sides to start sewing. So I'm going to be choosing the back of my bikini bottom. And remember that you also need to have the bikini bottom on the reverse, so the sewing will be on the reverse as well. So I'm just going to be placing it right here on top of the squares. And then I'm just going to be creating a normal sewing. So now you can just fasten off. So now we are just going to be passing the elastic through the squares. So this is how it looks like once you pass the elastic through the squares. As you can see, I'm just pulling so you guys can see that it's nice and kind of stretchy as well. And if you want, you can have the elastic the same color as a project. I couldn't find the beige one, so I decided to do it in white, but that's going to be up to you as well. So now I'm just going to be sewing the elastic on this side. So this is how it looks like with one side completed. So now I'm just going to be creating the other one and then I'll be back. So now the last thing that I'm going to be doing is creating a few single crochets on the back here at the top. So I'm going to be attaching my yarn here at the beginning and then I'm going to go all the way to the other side with single crochets. And I'm also going to be creating the single crochets in the front of the bikini bottom. So this is the final result. I really hope you guys enjoyed. It was something really nice to crochet and super quick and easy. And I'm sure you guys would love the style and how comfortable it is to wear this bikini bottom. So if you guys enjoyed, make sure you give this video a massive thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe so you can join the Cutiecality family. So I'll see you guys soon on my next video. Bye bye!
Bye! Feel my heart for the first time, 'cause now I'm moving